Master Yoda, can you believe somebody actually robbed Rancho Obi-Wan?
You must gain control.
No kidding.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, and I apologize for not doing more Star Wars vlogs up until this point, but I promise, very, very soon, probably within the next week or less, my vlogs are going to be coming a lot more frequently. They won't be uploaded frequently, but there will be more vlogs being uploaded on a regular basis, and definitely more Star Wars vlogs. You guys may remember a few weeks ago I talked about the top 10 worst things about the old Legends Expanded Universe, aka any Star Wars book that did not mention the movies that was published between 1978 and 2015. So now, on the flip side of things, following through on my promise, I'm going to be talking about the top 6 best things about the Legends Expanded Universe. Yes, I could only come up with 6 things. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. Without further ado, here are the top 6 best things about the Legends Expanded Universe, at least in the opinion of the Clumsy Jedi. Number 6, Kyle Katarn and the Jedi Outcast video games. The character of Kyle Katarn was a young Force sensitive who was off to the Imperial Academy, ended up losing his father. He dabbled in the dark side for a short while, ended up training under Luke Skywalker and becoming a Jedi Master in his own right. While he did not officially show up in the novels, he did show up in a few comic books and especially in the video games, namely Jedi Outcast, Jedi Academy, and Dark Forces. Of course, his most notable appearance is in the Jedi Outcast video games. With that, it plays almost like a movie. It's really fun to watch. Kyle Katarn and his sidekick, Jan Ors, traveled the galaxy and found adventure, and they were mercenaries, I think, working for the rebellion. For a long time after dabbling in the dark side, Kyle Katarn wanted nothing to do with the Force and avoided it as best he could until he thought Jan Ors was killed and he needed the Force in order to find the character who had killed her, which of course was another former student of Luke's who had gone dark. And the Jedi Outcast video game, there were so many different levels on it. I only played it a couple of times myself, but I was the kind of person who, rather than playing video games, would sit and stare over my brother's shoulder, watching with rapt attention as he played the video games. I really loved watching people play the Jedi Outcast video games and following the story and seeing all the different characters that came in and watching him learn how to use the Force, and it was just really, really fun. Number 5 best thing about Legends Expanded Universe, the character of JAINA Solo. JAINA Solo, of course, as I mentioned in the top 10 worst things about the Legends Expanded Universe, was the twin sister of Jacen Solo, and a daughter of Han Solo and Princess Leia. She grew up on Coruscant with her parents and 2 brothers, and from a young age she displayed her father's aptitude for mechanics and also Luke's aptitude for the Force. So she was like a female version of the best qualities of Han Solo and Luke. And what's not to like about that? That's just pretty darn cool. She grew up to become a very, very skilled Jedi. Of all the 3 Solo children, she actually seemed like she was the best rounded. She did have a little bit of a stubborn streak as a kid, but you know, what kid doesn't? I especially liked her character in the Young Jedi Knights series. I know that series has been frowned on and dumped on and whatever else it was, but that was where her character really got to shine at both piloting skills and mechanical skills and skills with the Force. The only bad part about the character, other than her precocious nature as a toddler, was the fact that, spoiler alert, she had to kill her own twin brother. Other than that, the character of JAINA Solo, definitely, she was my favorite character of the Legends Expanded Universe. Number 4, best thing about Legends Expanded Universe, Luke's life. Well, that is after he got married to Mara Jade, and I'll talk about her next. Luke had a very tumultuous life in the expanded universe. Up until the point where he married Mara, his life was very off-kilter, including the parts where he dabbled in the dark side and had several different crushes who ended up getting killed, and yeah, all that junk happened. Mara thankfully balanced him out. She was the perfect counterpoint to him. And after they got married, for a long period of time, Luke was the great character, the quintessential Jedi Master, patient, skilled, still had a little bit of wit about him, and he was still just Luke. Not as naive as he was before, but still with that farm boy honesty and integrity. And that was probably my favorite illustration of Luke, was after he got married to Mara and that whole period. Then, of course, the Vong invasion happened and that whole thing got ruined. But that little period of Luke's life, I love reading about. I can read about it over and over again, and that's one of the best things about it. Number 3, the character who is probably the most popular Legends Expanded Universe character, one who people are still begging would be made canon, is, of course, Mara Jade. Mara Jade's backstory is pretty interesting. Timothy Zahn, who I will get to later, wrote her as the former Emperor's hand. She was a hired assassin trained secretly by Emperor Palpatine, and his final instructions telekinetically as he was dying was, "You must kill Luke Skywalker." So she spent most of her life looking for him in order to fulfill this last order. But in the Heir to the Empire trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote back in the early 1990s, she ends up having to team up with Luke for survival and ends up killing his clone. So that way she didn't have to kill the actual Luke, and she fulfilled her master's wishes, and the voices in her head stopped. After that, she became a really, really cool character. She was kind of sarcastic and hard-edged, but she was also bluntly honest with Luke. As I said just now, she was the perfect counterbalance to Luke. Luke was the kind of person who had to help everybody. She understood him, but she's like, okay, dude, you are not a superhero. Stop trying to be one, and stop trying to fix everything. You have to accept that there are some things that you can't fix. So she balanced him out really, really, really well. And since these Luke and Mara working together are my favorite parts in the old Expanded Universe books. And I'm going to let my dog in before she scratches a hole in the door. So it continues to this day that Mara Jade is still one of the most popular characters. Members of the Rebel Legion and the 501st Legion are still making costumes of her. People still love her. And the fact that a character can continue for over 20 years in such humongous popularity, that says something about her. Number 2 best thing of the Legend Expanded Universe is the X-Wing novels. Oh, this is probably the best series of books in the whole Expanded Universe. Granted, the stories are a little bit, they don't delve into the deep, psyche, and there's hardly any use of the Force in there at all. But they're great novels, especially if you like a good read. I mean, the banter between the pilots, the character development between the new pilots that keep coming in, because unfortunately, fighter pilots, unless they are ridiculously good, have a very, very high attrition rate. They get killed like flies, and eventually everyone's luck ends up running out, except apparently for Wedge, because he must be the best pilot in the universe other than Luke, and Luke's off training Jedi by then. Every single time I pick up an X-Wing novel to read it, I have to listen to battle music from episodes 4, 5, and 6, and it's great. They're real page-turners, great reads. If you have never read an X-Wing novel by either Michael Stackpole or Aaron Alston, I strongly recommend you pick one of them up and start reading. They're great. And finally, the number 1 best thing about Legends Expanded Universe is, drumroll please, Timothy Zahn. Specifically, any book by Timothy Zahn. Yes, I know I mentioned in the top 10 worst things about Legends Expanded Universe, there were several things like clones and Salamari were the 2 bad ideas that Timothy Zahn came up with. Other than that, his ideas, especially for different villains, and he was the one who came up with Mara Jade. Plus his writing style it's page-turning. It's very, very engrossing, and his ability to weave stories, telling it from as many different angles as possible. That guy is a master author. Like the X-Wing novels, if you haven't read any Expanded Universe books, pick up one of Timothy Zahn's novels. Especially Heir to the Empire or The Last Command are my personal favorite books by Timothy Zahn. Spectre of the Past was fairly good, as was Vision of the Future. And not only did he invent the character of Mara Jade, but he also invented the blue-skinned Chiss admiral named Grand Admiral Thrawn, who now has officially been brought back into the canon by placing him in Rebels. So he's another extremely popular villain. The thing is, he's cunning and cold, and he studies everything. Master strategist. So he makes a good villain that does not use the Force for Star Wars. So there you have it. That is my top 6 picks of the best things of the Legends Expanded Universe. Whew! Again, I apologize for not getting to this sooner, but real life has just been so stressful lately. I need to find a new forever home for a dog that I'm fostering because unfortunately we can't keep him. He's a sweetheart, but he has needs that we cannot meet. He's very needy and he cannot be left alone. Well, my dog, she's fine. He has got great traits. If you want to find out about the dog we're fostering, if he doesn't find a home by the time the next video is uploaded, at the rate we're going, he might not. But I hope he does. If you want to find out about the dog we're fostering, please stay tuned. I will be vlogging about him specifically, giving you his story. So moving on from that, like I said at the beginning of this video, yes, the unthinkable happened. The world's largest collection of Star Wars artifacts owned by former Lucasfilm fan relations guy Steve Sansweet was indeed robbed. What makes matters worse, it was someone he considered a close personal friend, and the items were afterward sold. Most of them were rare vintage cards and figures with the actual card in the back of the box. And it wasn't so much the theft of the things, which totaled over $200,000 worth of vintage stuff, but the fact that he was betrayed by a friend that has Steve Sansweet so upset. And this has got Star Wars fans all over the place very upset. This happened several days ago. I just heard about it today. And Star Wars fans stealing from Star Wars fans. What is this world coming to? So that's all for today, guys. I apologize for not putting the little countdown thing or mentioning that it's less than 200 days away from the release of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Not a whole lot of news for that. I am expecting what they call a sizzle reel this year at Comic-Con in July. That's next month. Which has, you know, behind-the-scenes glimpses and little bits and pieces of footage that we haven't seen before. Hopefully that we haven't seen before. To talk a little bit about how it was making it and how it was, you know, everybody working together, you know, that kind of thing. But those are always fun to see. Whenever the sizzle reel drops, I will definitely make a reaction video to it, so you guys have got that to look forward to. And thank you everybody who's been subscribing, even though I haven't been churning out regular videos. All my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. At last count this morning, I had 580. 20 more and 600. Yeehaw! But you guys aren't getting another special subscriber video until I hit 1,000. So there's a little bit of extra motivation for you. And I may even do something crazy, like another Star Wars related challenge. Maybe even a Star Wars related eating challenge. And I haven't thought of it yet, but I think I have plenty of time. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and click that little subscribe button down below. If you guys think I missed anything in talking about the best things about the Legends Expanded Universe, go ahead, post a comment below. As always, just keep it free of profanity. So, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to stay tuned here for G-rated Star Wars stuff. But until next time, this is the Clumsy Jedi signing off. Bye, guys! And I'm losing my voice. I need to grab something to drink.